Good boy. All right, y'all ready? Let's get to it. And we're already rolling, right? All right, you guys. Wish Jamin was here to bring us in. It's your boy Philly Fresh, Tapping In podcast. My brother Ak. We got a legend in the house today, you guys. In my crib. It's an honor to have this guy here. He's a 3rd degree black belt in Shotokan karate. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a UFC Hall of Famer, a living legend in the flesh. Lyoto Machida, ladies and gentlemen.
Pleasure to be here, my friend.
I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped. It's crazy, man. It's surreal to me that I get to train with you. It's surreal to me that you're in my home. Ever since I met you, you've been very down to earth to me. You've been very humble. You've shared a lot of knowledge with me, invaluable knowledge. Thank you. We're here. We just chop it up, pick your brain, and take a look into the dragon's mind.
Yeah, I would love to know, because when he first sat down, he said, "Look at Phil's shoes." That's probably different for you. What was your first thoughts of meeting Phil? This type of personality of his. Y'all feel like y'all have completely opposite type of personalities. You know what I mean? Like, what was your first impressions of him, or how you've gotten to know him over the years?
Phil?
Yeah.
So I've been like training with Phil for a couple of years, right? 3 years about, and he's always good, man. Always good with me. I try to always not judge people, because everyone is different, and I just respect that and try to live in a better way together. Like, do my best and create a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's the most important thing.
Have you helped him train for his fights, or vice versa? Have you guys
Yeah.
been a part of the training camp? How does it work?
Lyoto has a slew of coaches that he works with. Mano, I believe Mano is one of his head instructors. So wherever we fit in is an honor for us. So he uses Julian. So I think in conjunction with whatever coaches he has, Julian may tap in with them. And for the last couple fights of his career, wherever I'm able to fit in, we get in there and help out any way we can. But it's been a crazy addition having you in the gym, because I tell people all the time, everybody asks me, what's crazy is I'm in the UFC trying to build a name for myself, right? And every time I pop up somewhere, people start to know me now, but a lot of people know me because of you, because of Jacare, because of other legends in the gym. So people see me and they know who I am, but they, man, Phil, how was it training with Lyoto? How was it training with Jacare? And I remember when I first started training with Jacare, I didn't really understand how big a deal it was until I went to Brazil and I saw how he was in Brazil and how the people were so receptive to him. Like, he is a superstar in Brazil, right? And I can't imagine how Lyoto is over there. Like, Jacare is a superstar. And it put things in perspective. And I was with Jacare, and that's when I met you and your father. You fought Vitor. And I met you and your father, and nothing but class, showed me love. I actually sat next to your father in the fight. And it was surreal because you fast forward, I had that moment with Lyoto and then end up training with him. So I try to take heed as much as I can. His kids are phenomenal. I've always followed your brother. So there's a way that you carry yourself that people gravitate to you in the gym. You know, like you started bringing the luggage to the gym. Now I carry my bag and I carry the same luggage. I'm like, they're like, well, I said, I don't know, Lyoto does that shit. Like, I'm gonna do it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he's doing it, fuck it. You have an aura about you, you know, and it's a humbling aura, and it's an inviting aura, and it attracts people to you, right? So I just try to take heed. I try to mimic what this guy does, and it's been helping, you know.
That's what he was just saying. He was like, I don't watch too many movies. I'm kind of, what was the words you used? I think you said, I'm a little awkward. I don't do what everybody else does. And I said, that's the thing that makes people attracted to you. That's what makes people want to kind of get to know you. And as I'm talking to you, meeting you for the first time, I found myself wondering, watching you on TV, seeing you do interviews here and there. Mostly they was in Portuguese. But I was wondering, I was like, how much of this is like what he's projecting, because Americans are kind of preoccupied with like a character of a fighter, or, you know, how much of this is like a brand and how much of this is just who he is or how he was raised.
That's cool you said that, but with Lyoto, in my opinion, what's cool to me, I've trained with Jacare, I've trained with Rodolfo. I don't really know the real Jacare, if you understand what I'm saying. Of course, Jacare loves me. He's a good friend of mine. He changed my life, Jacare did. When I was training with Jacare, when I first cornered Jacare, I was 2 wins and 2 losses. Jacare take me to Brazil with him. This is my friend. This guy will be in the UFC. But because of the language barrier, I really, really don't understand Jacare how you understand him. Same with Rodolfo. These are my brothers. You know, these guys help me so much. But you speak English so well, and you've been here so long, you understand the culture so well. I feel like I get a good idea of who you are, right? Through your brother, through your father. So yeah, man, I'm just curious to, you could tell us, your dad is a legend, man. 8th degree or 7th degree? 8th degree. Dan in Shotokan karate.
Shotokan, yes.
And Japanese guy, right?
Yes.
And he is not traditional to jiu-jitsu, but you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So where did that connection happen for you, you know, coming from karate?
First of all, my father is a Japanese, real Japanese. He went to Brazil when he was 22 years old with $100 in his pocket.
Wow.
45 days in the boat. And he said the first 15 days he threw up every day. It was a tough, but he has the old mentality, Japanese old mentality. I mean, like, he a kind of person that helped to build Japan again after the big war. You know, that generation was a part of that. So they have a different mentality. They have a different spirit. The new generation in Japan is totally different. They think different, they act differently. But I started martial arts when I was 4 years old, but nothing serious. The main goal, the main concern of my father is to build a man grounded in the philosophy of martial arts. He didn't want to build a champion. That wasn't his main concern. Like, use the philosophy of martial arts and to build a man. Doesn't matter what I could do. Like, I could be a doctor, I could be a teacher, but I use that philosophy in your daily basis. And regardless what you do or who you are, if you can use that, you can become a better man for the world. So when I was competing a lot in karate, in sumo, in different martial arts throughout my childhood. When I got 13 years old, I got my black belt in Shotokan karate. So then things became more serious. Then I started practicing with different goals. Then when I was 15 years old, I was introduced to Jiu-Jitsu for the first time. At the same time, UFC just started, 1993, the first events. So then I saw Royce Gracie, the little guy, beating up everyone over there. And I was impressed with that martial arts. That's why was one of the reasons that I started practicing jiu-jitsu, because my goal in that moment was, like, I put in my mind that I want to be champion in these sports. Yeah. I want to be champion because I like challenges. You know? I like to compete. I like to do things, like to challenge myself.
Yeah. And at this age, you're 13 now. You got your black belt, and this is you're from Belém.
Belém.
And this is So at this point, your father is in Brazil. He migrated to Brazil, and you had been training for 9 years in karate. But my question, you're in Belém, right? So there's jiu-jitsu around you guys already.
Yes, but jiu-jitsu, actually jiu-jitsu was born in Belém from the Grace family by Helio Grace, Carlos Grace. Then they moved to the Rio de Janeiro. Then about 1993, jiu-jitsu came back to my state again. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like somebody brought again.
I understand.
And our academy, I literally used to live above the academy. So I was hanging out with the guys with my shorts all the time. Since when I was a child, I had that experience. So martial arts for me was like a osmosis process. You know, like I learned naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw UFC, I was impressed. Then I put in my mind that I want to be champion. I want to do this sport. Just 15 years later, when I was 30 years old, I could get my UFC belt.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that? I mean that nowadays people get used to have things instant, like very fast. But everything that you're gonna build in your life, that solid thing in your life, not gonna happen like overnight. You have to put sweat, blood, you put effort in everything that you do to achieve if you want something, if you really want something. So I had that spirit with me. So because of that, all the setbacks that I used to have, I could overcome in a different way. I know exactly what I want for my life. Doesn't matter. So people with the same age, people with the same peers over there, they went to the parties, they drink, they use marijuana and everything. And I was so focused in what I want, just waiting for the opportunity.
That's hard in Brazil.
It's hard in Brazil, especially in Brazil.
That's hard in Brazil. And when you're coming up now, Brazil, in my opinion, is next to Dagestan, is the hardest fight scene to come up in. And you're talking 90s, right? Early 2000s. So how are you existing with the Jacares, the Vitors, the Shoguns, the Macacos, like you guys are on the same scene together, no?
Yes, pretty much. But because I was in northern Brazil, which the city was very far from the center of martial arts, I was in northern Brazil. Jacaré as well, but Jacaré had more opportunity to be among those guys because he's from Jiu-Jitsu. I was from karate, which was like people in Brazil, they mocking karate. The kind of karate is for kids, karate is for play around, nothing serious. That's one of the reasons too that I wanna show people that karate is a real deal if you train in the right way. But people, they don't know. They only know karate points. They only know what people like Mac Dojo's karate, right? It's different.
It's funny because it's the exact opposite in America. For the longest time, like my father trained karate. The longest time we were infatuated with it. Have you ever heard of the Wu-Tang Clan?
No.
It's a rap group of guys from New York.
Excuse Lyoto, you guys not knowing not knowing who the Wu-Tang Clan is. That's a big deal.
He told me before he walked a different path in life.
Copy.
So, but yeah, it was a Wu-Tang Clan. They based their whole music career off of these karate movies that they used to watch. That's how revered it was in America. And not a lot of people know that kickboxing and karate was the big sport. It was kind of.
No, I know in Brazil as well. In Brazil, because of the movies, the Bruce Lee. But after that, when jiu-jitsu just.
So when the Gracies
when
spread
the Gracies spread jiu-jitsu, every martial arts became like something inefficient
in Brazil at this time.
In Brazil, yeah, people here, they don't know jiu-jitsu.
And you guys were way ahead of the curve because over here, everybody's doing karate still. Everybody I know, and you're talking, you go to any hood, little kids in karate from the dawn of time in America. Even early 90s, 2000, everybody doing karate here. But so they got jiu-jitsu in Brazil, and then they were rolling on the ball, beating everybody up.
Yeah.
So they saw in Brazil during this time in the 90s, they saw karate as inefficient and like not, you know, why would I learn that when I can learn jiu-jitsu?
Yes, exactly like that.
Who brought jiu-jitsu to Brazil?
So there is one guy, Japanese guy called Konde Koma. His real name is Mr. Mitsuyo Maeda. So he went to northern Brazil. He went to Belém, and he became a friend of Helio Gracie's fathers, Carlos Gracie's fathers, and he started teaching Carlos Gracie and Helio Gracie. And after that, so Helio Gracie and Carlos Gracie, he moved to Rio de Janeiro when they are still young, because of his fathers. His parents.
So, and you've been training now. You're a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You got a black belt in 06, 05? When did you get your black belt?
I don't know. In jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Maybe 206, I think.
A long time ago. So my thing is this. That is a long time in itself to be a black belt. Who'd you get your black belt under in Brazil?
De La Riva.
De La Riva.
De La Riva.
Oh, okay, I follow him. The guy that created De La Riva.
Yes.
And I still think it's crazy that everything comes from this. Barambola, all these new guards, they come from this guy. And he's still alive. He's still kicking. I follow him on Instagram. That's crazy. Yeah, so you got it straight from him.
Yeah, one of his students called Alexei, one of the best students from De La Riva. He went to Belém and he started teaching jiu-jitsu in Belém. He was my main coach at that moment.
Copy. Are you guys still?
Yeah, I sometimes we text each other, we talk to each other.
Has he cornered you or no?
No, he lives here in Delaware, some place like that.
He's never cornered you in fights?
No. Because when I was competing in UFC since the beginning, he already moved to the United States. No, we didn't have a chance. No.
So now, your father, I know your brother does karate. You're fighting now. You're fighting MMA. Is your dad a part of this journey now? You've already done karate. He's taught you all this karate growing up until 15. You know, you got your black belt. And now you're like, I want to start fighting. So you got to start training jiu-jitsu. You got to start boxing. You got to start doing other things. Is your dad now a big part of your MMA career?
Yes. At the beginning, he was against everything. No, because my father, he's a very, he educate people in Brazil. Kind of that. He's a master. He came from a very traditional martial arts, which is karate. So he didn't accept right away when I said, hey, Daddy, I want to do that, MMA. He said, no, don't do that. Because in that moment, we didn't say MMA, we say vale tudo, which means everything, you can do everything, headbutt, everything. And he said, no, that's not for a right person. It's for vagabond, for people who go to the parties, for people who use drugs, for people who like fights. I said, no, Daddy, I want that. And a couple of weeks after, he said to me, Lyoto, you know what? You're right, my son. If you really want to do something, if you don't break any principles in your life, like if you respect people, if you can be a better example. So it's good for you. If you really want to do that, now I'm going to support you. So pretty much was my first overcome in my life. I was 15 years old, and I was then when I was 17 years old, the first Vale Tudo event, first MMA event in my city was happening. 3 fights at night. And my father said, Lyoto, come on. Do you really want to do Vale Tudo MMA? I said, yes. I said, okay, Shinzo, enroll Lyoto in this championship. Put his name over there. I was just 17. I just turned 17.
Did you do any jiu-jitsu yet?
No, since I was 15, I was doing jiu-jitsu.
Okay, good. Okay.
And he said to me, Lyoto, go there. If you really want to do, you're going to go there. I want to test you. I want to see if you really want to do that. I said, let's go. Then we start training. Then when I was 10 days before the fight, the promoter called my brother Shinzo and said, Shinzo, you see, this is the first event. I don't wanna have any problem over here. Your brother, he just turned 17 years old. He's so young. He's like under the age that should compete over here. Hey, let's put his out of this competition. Let's see what's gonna happen in the first competition. Then we're gonna see. Then my father said, no. Put him there. I wanna test. I wanna see if he has courage, if he's really. Then the promoter said, no. We're not gonna allow that. Then I was just to watch the event, very excited, but everything happens for on purpose. So it didn't happen that moment. Then I had another opportunity in the future when I was 24 years old. So I had more time to prepare myself. I had more time to like be among of those guys, Minotauro, Vitor Belfort, training together and feel the energy, feel the technique, and feel that more confident.
Is this at Black House or?
Yes, Black House, but I used to visit other academies like Chute Boxe, was in Curitiba.
Okay.
I had a chance to see.
So, damn. So the match that you tried to get into was when you were 17, and you didn't fight again until you were 24.
Yes.
That was your
MMA.
first fight, MMA.
Yeah, MMA. But I trained with those guys.
But you never got to fight.
No MMA. Karate a lot. No. But we had a lot of like kind of little challenges in the academy because we didn't have glove at that moment. So we kind of fight without glove because we didn't have money to buy a gloves.
So you wasn't fighting like in front of everybody, but you were getting experience at the gym.
Yeah, at the gym, but like, with all the students, two guys with no shirts, let's train. Boom, boom, boom,
So you were 24. What year is that?
2003, about.
So already, Vitor's already fighting. Shogun's fighting, but they know you at this point.
A little bit.
But here's the thing, though. Now, being a martial artist, as long as I have, I already know where your striking was compared to those guys. The catch-up for you was in grappling. But I know back then, your striking was a lot superior to those guys. So, like, even when you were training, did you see the shift in these guys? Are like, man, Lyoto's getting good. Because I already know if you're doing karate from the age 13, the striking back then was at a lower level. Your striking is already here compared to these guys, So now 24, you're understanding grappling. In these sparring sessions, I'm assuming you're beating the shit out of these guys.
It's hard to talk about training,
Yeah.
But I feel good.
Yeah.
I felt like I'm ready to go. and I travel around the world at the moment. I went to Japan and I trained with those guys in Japan.
I want to talk to you. That's what I wanted to ask you about with Japan. Because growing up, I was a big fan of wrestling, professional wrestling. Like as almost a bigger fan as I am martial arts now. So I noticed you trained with
Inoki, Antonio Inoki.
Yeah, and you trained with Daniel Bryan.
Yes, Daniel Bryan, yeah.
You live with...
We live together.
Shinseki
Nakamura,
yes. And I saw that, I was like, that's crazy that happened. And you were in catch wrestling? You were doing that type of thing?
Yeah, because... So, Antonio Inoki is a big name in Japan, big name in the world.
Antonio Inoki, that's the big guy?
He fought, Muhammad Ali.
Oh, that's slap everybody.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I know
that
him.
guy. So he was my godfather in MMA. Why? Because he went to Brazil and he was looking for a guy that could represent his office in Japan. Pretty much, he would like to repeat his story because he was a guy that he was a Japanese guy, but his parents was an immigrant. He went to Brazil, and Ricky Dozan, one famous catch wrestling guy, went to Brazil and picked Antonio Inoki and took him to Japan. So he would like to repeat this story. Then he picked me in Brazil because I'm half Japanese.
So he handpicked you.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he came over and saw him sparring all them people you named and said, yeah, I want that guy.
And he's Japanese Brazilian. The same.
He is a Japanese, real Japanese, but he went very little to Brazil when he was very little. Then he was like 16 years old. He moved to Japan again with the Ricky Dozan guy, the Japanese catch wrestler.
Okay.
So he wanted to repeat the same story.
Copy.
Though he picked me in Brazil and he took me to Japan.
Mhm.
In that moment, I used to live in the academy in Japan, in Kachu Wrestling Academy with Antonio Inoki in Japan. So I live among those guys.
How long were you living there?
Was kind of a year in Japan.
And you were how old?
23, almost. Yeah, 22 to 23.
And you're still learning. You haven't fought yet.
I haven't fought yet.
Awesome.
Did you take your first MMA fights over there in
Yes,
Japan?
in Japan.
Because your first fight was
Watanabe, Kengo Watanabe was in
Okay.
New Japan Pro Wrestling event. He did 5 fights.
It was a wrestling event. They had fights.
5 fights, MMA fights, in front of 50,000
What?
people. My first fight was in front of
I
50,000
try to
people.
explain to these guys all the time. Every time I come on this show, Mike Perry, a couple other people, I'm trying to explain how closely wrestling and professional wrestling.
He loves
MMA
wrestling,
is,
by the
right?
way, professional wrestling.
How much is together? Like how much is together? Like in Japan, what they would do is they would put on a real fight, then they put on a professional wrestling fight. So Antonio Inoki, he could really fight, and most of the people that he kept around him could actually really fight.
But he's a wrestler.
But he's a professional wrestler. He's a catch. And I wanted to ask you. So your first fight was him they're selling out that much, right? People nowadays don't understand.
So they're selling out because of wrestling.
They're selling out
introducing people to fighting.
Inoki was just an incredible promoter.
Copy.
And if you think about it, if you don't want people to know that the professional wrestling is fixed, what do? You put on a real guy, have him knock somebody out, submit somebody.
Yeah.
Then you see the wrestling, now you believe it more. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they used to. That's why Ken Shamrock and all them went into professional wrestling, because they was trained how to do both. Because back in the day, I told you that's how it started. Real fighters would shake hands and be like, "Let's not hurt each other tonight, brother. Let's take it easy, brother." And they would, and that's how they did it. And they would make money. But what's crazy is your second professional fight was in Japan too, right?
Yes, in K1.
And it was against Stephan Bonner in MMA.
Richard Franklin. Yes, no, Stephan Bonner.
Stephan Bonner.
I remember that. And Stephan Bonner was undefeated. So, and also now, are you consoling with your dad in the process of taking these fights?
Of course.
Okay. And you're like, Dad, I got this guy.
Yes.
Boom.
He always study with me. No?
Okay.
He said, "Hey, Lyoto, look, he has a skinny leg. You have to attack the legs. You have to attack." You know what I mean? He always see the weak point of my opponents. No, and strong points as well. Like.
Yeah.
Okay, those events in Japan are insane. Was there money behind those events, or you guys were just kind of good money?
But I didn't get any. Yeah, because I was in the office. But Enoch himself was good with me. But he has one guy that represent him, was kind of manager. No, he he do stuff different.
Don King like motherfucker.
Yeah, Japan, they got a different type of timing. Yeah. And then your third fight was Rich Franklin. So it goes to show, that's the reason why I wanted to bring it up, because you were asking like, how good were you at that time? He's like, I felt good. He was beating future champions and Hall of Famers.
And when you beat Rich Franklin, he was 14-0.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's his third professional
Your third
MMA
fight. And I don't know if you know this fact, but I've been following you a long time, right? I used to play with you in the first UFC game. I don't play the new one, but I used to play with him. I used to play with the guys that I liked in real life were the guys that I played with in the game. Why everybody likes playing with you? Because your style was different than everyone else. Everyone else was like Shogun, had a high kick. Who else was in the game? Frank Mir, Brock Lesnar was in the game, but your character was different. So the guys that I liked in real life were the guys that I played with in the game. And I think that's why a lot of people in America gravitated to you, because you were different, right? You were like the karate guy beating everybody up.
But I always wanted to ask you too, because it couldn't have been just karate, right? Like, I know you did judo, I know you did jiu-jitsu, catch wrestling, and things in between, but I feel like, with karate, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but this is my impression. With karate, things are kind of like laid out. This is the system that we used. And your style seemed much more like creative in the process. Like what the other guy does, I see what you're doing, now I'm going to do this, which is not really known. Usually they have the katas that are kind of made up or whatever. So your style, maybe I'm just not familiar with your style that your father taught. Would you say that what you did in MMA is more based on what your father taught you, or was it something you kind of gathered over the years?
Both. But like in karate, we kind of create opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
You just fight like anyway. Like you create opportunity. You make the guy walk and see how he walks. Then you kind of use the momentum to catch in the right time, in the right distance. You know, to create fakes. For example, Alex Pereira, the guy, is the current champion in UFC. So he does the same in his style. He's a type of guy like he create opportunities. So he knows when you walk, and everything, every single thing that he does has a purpose. If he makes you move to this side, be careful because he creating some opportunity for you. So if you're a good karate guy, karate fighter, you kind of create opportunities, and you know the time exactly, the distance, the moments that you can attack. No, it's very mysterious, kind of. No, you can create the opportunities for you.
And so I would say, if from a fan's perspective, looking on the outside looking in, I would say like your advantage over most opponents during that time was the distance control, right? Like you could always control when the engagements happened, and somebody like what's the man's name? MVP. Yeah, MVP. That's his main control over it. It's the same type of karate thing. Like when you want to come to me, I'm not there, and when you least expect me, I'm there. So I guess my question is like, is that built into karate, or is that built more so based on the fact that you've had so much experience fighting?
No, it's built in karate because in karate point you have to have that that you have to know how to do that in order to be a champion. But of course, I have a lot of experience under my belt. Then it helps me a lot. It helps me a lot to create that opportunity.
Yeah, like and you have Lyoto Machida karate now, and I mean, you showed me a kata. I don't know if that was from I don't know if that was Shotokan or that's from your type of karate, but I assume that what you're doing now is a hybrid to MMA and everything. And I see it in your kids, man. And I'm not just saying it because you're my friend, but your kids are phenomenal. It's insane to see them. They're the next generation. They're going to be beating the shit out of people. Your oldest son is going to be beating the piss out of people. And that's obviously a given. But watching your son, it's amazing to see. The kid can box. He can wrestle. He has karate. He has jitsu. Amazing timing. Like he has the karate timing, but then he can box. Then he pull right hand. He got a good jab. So it's scary to see the new generation of MMA because your oldest at 20 is going to be a scary human being. So I don't know what he wants to do, but he has to fight. In my opinion, there's no way. There's no way. And I've seen young prodigies, but that kid with the addition of karate, with the addition of, like I told you because I've seen them for the past 4 years, right? And that transition from little kid to teenager is a big jump.
Big jump, yeah.
Big jump. Like, so now they spar grown men.
Yeah.
And I see like your oldest, like he can box, he can kickbox, but the in between that's different is he has the karate timing and he has karate movements in between the karate fakes, but then he can bow. You know, I'll go with a karate guy and I know where I can box him here if I'm really close. You get close to his son, he can box you. Then he has the karate timing. So it's cool to see, and I'm pretty sure your father, that's their grandfather, likes to see like the evolution of it. But what's a cool thing for me, and what was always cool for me, and I thought this was a cool stat, and Joe Rogan said this stat a long time ago. I knew this about you. I don't know if you know, but you have beat the most undefeated fighters ever. So like out of all the fighters in the UFC, high level fighters, you have beat the most undefeated men right? And not like 1-0 guys, 2-0 guys. You beat Rashad Evans for the belt. He was undefeated. You beat Richard Franklin. He was 14-0. You had 3 fights.
Thiago Silva, 2.
Silva, Thiago, Eric Anders. I think there's 9, 10 guys that you beat. Is that a part of your thought process? Because I keep it 100. If I get a guy with an O next to his name, I'm like, you know, you get a lot of undefeated guys. You're like, okay, let's go. Is that something that your dad instilled in you?
Not really. But I have the mindset that in order to be a champion, like, I have to be ready to beat everyone. That was my mindset. Like, that's why I train hard. That's why I prepare myself. I said, no, in order to be the champion, there is only one champion. If I want to be the one, if you want to be the one, you have to be ready to beat everyone. But I know that my style was kind of awkward for those guys, because they couldn't figure out the distance in time. No, they couldn't like do. Even nowadays, sometimes it's hard. It's too hard because like the tools that you can create in the process, like when you can control the distance in the time, like you can be more creative. No, you can do things like you don't go there to exchange. I'm not gonna exchange. I'm gonna be like 17-30.
Copy.
80-20.
Copy.
At least, at most 60-40.
No matter what.
No matter what. No,
Wow.
like I have to be advantage. I don't want to be there and like exchange 50-50. If you're 50-50, like anyone can win. No, so in that mentality, that's why I had to work a lot. I have to train a lot and test the water with all this type of training that I did back then. I went to Japan. I used to live here in 2003 in LA.
Oh, wow.
By myself 1 year. And I used to train with Rico Schiaparelli. Most people, they don't know. He's a Division 1 in wrestling. He launched Dan Henderson. He launched Randy Couture. He launched Tom Harrison. He launched Vladimir Matyushenko.
What's his name?
Frank Trigg. Rico Schiaparelli.
Rico Schiaparelli.
One of the best coaches that I ever had.
Really?
Yes.
Is he alive now? Or
He's alive now, still. But he doesn't train anybody anymore.
he used to train Randy?
He used to train Randy Couture, Dan Henderson.
I never heard of this guy, Rico Schiaparelli. I'm not saying he don't exist. That's crazy.
Yeah,
those are some names.
Rico Schiaparelli.
Rico Schiaparelli.
He's so good. He's so good.
And so
and
now
you was training wrestling with him?
I trained wrestling. But when I came the first time to the United States to training, was to be with him, train with him. Then Valid Ismail, the guy from Jungle Fight, he introduced me.
Valid is crazy. I got to tell a story really quick about Valid. Valid's crazy. I meet Valid. I like Valid, by the way, but he's crazy. I'm trying to get into UFC at this time. I started my career 0 wins, 2 losses. So obviously, I had to get on a win streak to get to the UFC. Now I'm 5-2. 5 wins in a row, all finishes. I'm on the radar. They said, man, Phil, we need one more. We can get you on the show Contender. I'm 6-2. Valid. Hey, Phil, man, I have a good fight for you, man. Look, you go jungle fight, you get this belt, man, you go to the UFC, brother. I said, okay, cool. Valid sent me the guy. I want to say, I'm not playing. I want to say the guy is 16-0. Phil, good fight for you, man. Good fight, man. I said, Valid. I said, look. I said, Valid, I need one more fight. The UFC said, hey, no, man. All these champs, Rashad Evans, Lyoto, everybody fight for me. They go to the UFC, man. I said, okay, man. What's the pay? I pay you $1,000 US, 500. Good money, man. Good money. He said, don't worry about the money. You get this belt, you go to the UFC. 500. I said, okay, I'm not taking the fight. I said, Valid, I said, I need a plane ticket. Okay, cool, I get you a plane ticket. I said, man, my coach needs one too. No, I can't do your coach, man, but you just come. I have coach here for you, man. Valid want me to fight a guy, 16-0. I still have the matches on my phone. I'm 6-2, trying to line me up in Brazil and fucking for jungle fight. This is like, I want to say like 2008, 18 or something like that, 2017. That guy's crazy. But he's my friend. I like him. Now he's seen me in the UFC.
Guy,
yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. Funny guy.
But he
funny
did
guy.
the same. He did the same to me when I was fighting Stefan Bona. He said, Lyoto, I have a guy. He's a chicken dad for you. Man. I said, I'm a chicken dad. You're gonna beat up this guy. I said, oh yeah. Then I was searching up, and I see Stefan Bona from Carson Grace. It's okay. Then after the fight, like 1 month after the fight, I met Carson Grace there in LA. Carson Grace. He came up to me and said, Lyoto, come over here. Hey, what Valid said about my he said he was a chicken dad. He said the same to me. He said my students would face a chicken dad.
And look, is Stefan a black belt then? No.
No, I think he was a brown.
But that's still one of his top. Stefan Bonner.
Yeah.
What the? That's still one of his top students,
Yeah.
and he was undefeated at the time.
Yes.
You had 2 fights.
I had my second. It was my second.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He was,
He's
what was
crazy.
it? Chicken
But look,
dad?
but he went and he beat
Chicken
him.
dad.
That's crazy, man. I know. So you're in the UFC now. You're rocking and rolling. You fought some guys, man. You fought John Jones. It's crazy. You fought Rashad. Who is the guy? So my thing with you, every time I watch, I always have a system of guys I watch before I fight. I watch a lot of your fights before I fight. I watch a lot of your weigh-ins. And I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here. I watch a lot of your weigh-ins. I watch a lot of Rory McDonald's fights.
Why do you watch the wins?
I watch a lot of Gegard Mousasi's fights. I like Gegard. You beat Gegard. So did Jacare. I love Gegard though. I try to look at little unintangibles, right? Mental. And I always try to find like a chink in somebody's armor, right? And guys that are that 1%, right? The John Jones, Lyotas, these type of guys. And I always look at weigh-ins and I try to look for mannerisms and I try to look. And across the board, man, it's hard for me to see any time but you're human. You get scared, you get nervous, but it's hard for me to see a time where you're really caught in the moment, where you're really scared, you're really nervous. So I'm curious, you tell me a time that you have been that way, because I see guys, your Rampage, he's very loud, he talks a lot of shit, he tries to scare people. I see you go against stoic guys, you face off against Gegard, very, very cold, very stoic he is. But you're always even keel. Mark Munoz is a good one. But I always try to find, but I never see a time where you falter there, And then usually when you see these type of guys that try to back people down, you'll what fight that you have that you're like, oh, damn, this guy, that you were nervous, that you were scared the most for a fight?
So most of my fights, I didn't see it, but I was kind of scared. All my fights, because nobody wants to lose. Nobody wants to lose. That's a type of pressure that everyone feels that. But the thing is, the mentality that you use during the process of preparation, of fighting, is very important. For example, if it's like in life, why we get anxious, why we get nervous? Because we project ourselves in the future. We want to win. Your focus is in the intention, not in the action. That's a big problem. So
hold that thought. You got to say that again. That's good. I didn't think about this because I get nervous and scared every fight. And what helps me is to say I'm scared. I understand this, and how do we overcome this, right? And I'm never scared of the man. I'm scared of the opportunity. I don't want to lose it. I work so hard to be here. I want to win, capitalize, and move forward. So I never thought about this. So you're saying, and it makes sense, I'm scared of the future.
The future.
I am. I'm not scared of this moment now.
Of course.
I'm scared of maybe losing, potentially.
Yes, because you project yourself in the future all the time.
Copy.
That is the main reason people suffer in this world. That's the main reason. If you ask people, why are you suffering? Because they think about his life situation. Because life itself is within. But life is different than life situation. Life situation is your past and your future. We are attached to the past and to the future. If you realize that, you're gonna see that that's why you're suffering. That's why if you cannot focus in the present moment. But if you don't focus in the present moment, you're losing life because you're not satisfied with you have right now.
So how do you focus? And this is a good teaching moment right here, especially for a lot of fighters. So what do you do in that moment where you are anxious? Because I remember one fight I'm not going to tell you the fight because I don't want that guy to get happy. I was beside myself, but on the outside, you couldn't tell. What do you do in that moment to help you overcome that feeling of the future, the feeling of that fear that I may lose this opportunity?
It doesn't matter. Because you feel nervous because you want to control the outcome. I want to win. You want to control the outcome. But what is in your life you can control? Tell me the truth. What is in your life?
I can control Ox life more than he can. No.
You can't control anything in your life.
Facts.
That's not in your control.
Facts.
Once you accept that, everything becomes like you can dilute everything. All the bad feelings, so that's why I use a lot of the breathing exercise. I like to keep my focus on my breathing, enjoy the process. It's hard, but I enjoy that.
So you focus on that which you can control, which is basically yourself, but just the thing, like you're breathing. Nobody is going to affect that. So if you focus on that, it calms you, right?
Of course.
So real time, right? And this will help a lot of fighters. And this will help a lot of people in general. In any high pressure situation. In fighters, a high pressure situation is what? When you're in the cage. Real time, when you're in the cage, for me, the most annoying part, obviously, is waiting. Right? And I've been the fucking blue corner every damn time. Give me the A side one time. Give me the fucking red tape. But I'm always in the blue corner. So I'm in there first. And I'm and then the feeling. I'm in there, and then you gotta wait for this guy to walk out. What do you do right then? If you're the blue corner, what do you do right then to help center you right there?
Feel everything, see everything, focus in the present moment, breathe, enjoy. Because when you face a problem in your life, most of the people they wanna run away, they wanna scary, they wanna face. I want the problem,
and you look at everything.
I want to be here.
I want the problem.
I want the problem.
I want the problem. I want to solve this problem. That's mine. I want to do that. When you have that mentality, everything start changing.
Do you stay in that zone, or when you hear that bell ring, does it change? Does your mindset change? Does the mentality change?
Or are you still in there?
I try to, every time when I face something, even in my real life, I use that mentality. I want to do that.
And are you looking, I do this. Are you looking at fighters, or are you looking in the crowd? Are you looking at individual things?
Nothing. I try to focus only what I have to do.
Come on in, man.
That is,
I got a surprise for you, Lyoto.
Thank you. Hey, my friend.
I got a surprise,
yeah.
Man. We got some.
Como é que você tá, meu amigo? Tudo bem? Tranquilo?
What's up, brother?
How are you, bro?
This is my guy here.
Nice to meet you.
Come on in, chef.
How are you guys?
What's your name, brother?
Mike,
I'm Phil.
this is my chef and teacher.
Mike.
Chef Mike.
How's everything, my friend?
Chef Mike, this is a pleasure to have you in my home.
Oh, thank you, man.
Thank you so much. You bring the traditional Japanese sushi.
Yeah, absolutely.
For my brother.
We have a couple restaurants in town called Soseki. We have a 1 Michelin star. We're one of 4 restaurants in all of Orlando with a Michelin star, and then we just recently got a Michelin Bib Gourmand, one of only 2 restaurants here in Orlando.
Fire.
Sushi Say where Yido-san's at.
Fire, man. We got a special guest, so we had to bring in the traditional Japanese sushi from my guy. I appreciate you guys. And we're going to send as much business your way as possible.
Oh, absolutely. And then we want to do a promo code, right? What is the promo
code? Tapping in. They're going to get a free drink at Sushi Saint.
Hey, code tapping in. You're going to get a free drink.
Sake's beer. So we actually brew our own beer right in our facility too. So it's a dope spot. Yeah, right in downtown Orlando.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We got a couple shirts for you guys too.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, Lyoto, man. I mean, I love sushi, man. So I love sushi. You know, I love it too, man. I'm one of my only black friends that love sushi, but it's my favorite food, man. So I thought it was.
Where's your favorite food?
It dead ass is my favorite food, man.
You got your card on you?
Say again.
You got your card on you?
Yeah, all right.
Your black card?
Yeah, all right.
Run that. Run
yeah,
that.
Yeah. Right. So I opened up my taste buds in about when I was 21. I'm 33, and my friend at the time put me on, and I've been hooked ever since.
Really?
I love sushi.
So I was talking about I remember. There is one state of mind we call in Japanese mushin.
Mushin.
Mushin. Mu means empty. Shin means mind. Empty mind. Mushin. So it's a samurai code. They have 3 states of mind. Mushin, Fudoshin, Zanshin. Mushin means the empty mind. That's the hardest part. But you have to do Mushin in your real life, your daily basis. Because you see, when you wake up, you start create a mind movement that you don't think.
The second I wake up?
You see? Because
I need Mushin in my life.
Yeah. But that sometimes make you be anxious, make you be like projecting yourself to the future, get stuck in the past. So Mushin is to use the empty mind, like be in the present moment, enjoy. So life is good, man. Life, you have to enjoy life. But why you have a lot of depression? Why you have a lot of stuff like that? Why? Because people, they cannot enjoy. They always get stuck in something. I know it's people are being addicted in those stuff, but that's don't leave you life like you always like. You see me always. I'm calm, like I'm relaxed because I like to be in touch with the nature. I like to be with myself. I like to breathe. When I eat, one day I taught you that. When I eat, I enjoy eating. Like every single piece. I do that every day. Like I kind of be grateful because the food's there. I'm not like pray like that and just eat. Like forget everything. No. I pray, then I enjoy. Every piece, every taste. No? That makes me live my life. So I get out of my life situation because your life situation is here. We talk, we see phone, we get stuck in the past. You know what I mean? Like, but do you think there is more people like satisfied or unsatisfied?
Unsatisfied. For sure.
What are they doing now? What are they doing now? Because they don't accept the present moment. Even when you get something in the future, you keep not accepting because you want more. There is nothing wrong to have more, but the moment you identify yourself with those stuffs, you start suffering. Because in the surface of every lake is very impermanent. Like you have the wind, you have the rain, you have everything. But if you see the lake, in the deep part of the lake, is very calm. That's our essence. That's what is within you, within me. But we forget that. They are always in the rat race. I have to have more money. Then, when you have money, you'll be the same guy in the luxury place with more money, but you're still suffering. Because it's never, you're not going to be satisfied. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have an inner peace. It's nothing to do with the happiness. It's everything to do with the inner peace. It's different. Happiness sometimes depends on their circumstances. Like, if you lose your mother, your parents, like they pass away somehow, you're not going to be happy, but you have the inner peace. Like, it is what it is. Life is beautiful. It's a process. Like I said before, imagine if nobody died. Imagine if nobody died. But why we don't accept death? Because we're not prepared for that. We always here, like in the surface. We never go, no. Like, there is 2 dimensions in our life, like to do and to be. We always put focus on to do. Always. Make more money, build the houses, have a car. It's good, it's important. I agree with that. But the moment you lose your being, you lose everything, man. You lose everything.
Just be sometimes.
Just be.
So if I'm getting what you're saying, being still or being calm in the moment allows you to slow down so you can appreciate more.
Be present.
And the more you appreciate, the happier you can become, the more you can accept what it is because you appreciate what it is at that moment.
Because you're going to recognize what is good in your life. You're going to recognize what is good in your life. So Albert Einstein used to say, like, there is 2 ways to see life. Everything is a miracle or nothing is a miracle. And people said, hey, everything is a miracle. Being here is a miracle. Breathe is a miracle. See something is a miracle. Be in touch with the nature is a miracle. There is something huge that we cannot see. When you eat, do you think in your digestion process?
No.
Or it happens by itself? Right? There is something huge, something bigger that you don't get value. Like, you always like worry about something. Hey, let it go, man. Let it go. Life is good. But you have to be calm. You have to live the present moment. That's going to be you more with the inner peace. That's what people need.
How do you practice? The word is wushu. Wushu? Mushin. How can you learn more about this? Like, where can you read on this, and like, what's a good way to practice that?
So, actually, the ideal is to not practice Mushin, but to live in Mushin. Because let me explain, be more clear. Usually, to think requires choice. But people, they don't think. They just react. Your reactions are based on your past because you're conditioned to react in that way.
Copy.
You know what I mean? But there is a space between what comes from outside, the stimulus, what happened, somebody says something to you, there is a space between the stimulus and your thought. But people, they don't know how to use that. That's when you use that, you become more conscious. Like, you can decide thinking. Like, think like your mind is a box of 2. It's really important to think. Unfortunately, people, they don't think. They create a mind movement. It's different. No.
Not cutting you off. I am cutting you off.
Definitely cutting them off.
Definitely. That makes sense, though. And so Gordon Ryan says this. he said, somebody was interviewing him. He says, why are you so good at jiu-jitsu? He says, because everyone else sucks. And then the guy starts laughing. I look into things more. And I'm like, man, what does he mean? He goes, everyone else sucks. No one thinks. So that's what Gordon said. He said, guys will just be reacting. What you just said. He says, they will do something for so long, and they're efficient at certain movements, and they're just reacting. And I remember Jacare one time was telling me about ADCC, and I see him fucking throw a guy. And I asked him how you do. He said, Phil, I don't remember, man. He says, I just did it. And Gordon says, everything I do, he goes, I'm thinking, I understand why I'm doing it. I understand the system behind it. He goes, realistically, I am light years ahead of everybody because I understand all these intricacies to each position. And I'm thinking about what I'm doing. And people don't pay attention. And I paid attention to that quote and I thought about it. And that's literally exactly what you're saying.
Exactly. The same thing. But if you have a box of 2 and you have a problem, what are you going to do? Open the box and pick the right two. Like, I have to use the hammer. I have to use the, you know what I mean? Like, wrench. Whatever. That's you have to use your mind. But we don't do that.
And I'm congruent with this. I like this a lot. And I'm happy that we got this so I can look back at it, right? But once again, my question. Hey, yo. Pause. How does someone that is anxiety filled, right? Say you got a student, because you have an academy, you have a student that he's very anxiety filled, right? He's a good student. He's not going to accept this principle overnight. Like, what are the steps to get there? Like, is there a specific book that you can read, right, that can break this down for you? There has to be a step, because there's to get to that where you are from someone else, that's going to be a treacherous journey, right? So what are the micro steps, the small steps to get there? Like me, I have a lot of anxiety, right? But I do a lot of things. The thing about food, in my fight camp, I try to do it. I don't attack it all because I know realistically I won't do it. I know I'm still going to go to bed late. I know I'm still going to watch film. I know my anxiety is still going to be high. But at least with the food, I take my time. Deanna Cormier, my last fight, yo, Lyoto got Phil eating slow. I'm like, that's all you can say, man, the whole fucking fight. But what are the small...
He said that?
Daniel Cormier. So like in the pre-fight interview, I was telling him about some things that I do different, right? And I said... I use that almost as like my meditation time. I tried to meditate, but it didn't work. Not didn't work. I wasn't consistent, right? And I forgot about it. But I always have to eat. So during my fight camp specifically, I use that time to slow down, to literally feel the spoon on my lip, right? Feel myself pulling the food off the spoon. Literally slowing down like that, chewing, swallowing, pause. It literally works. It slows you down, right? It brings it takes your anxiety here, right? And I do that. But I remember during the fighter meeting, I was explaining this, and then in the fight, Daniel Cormier, me and Neil are clinching. He's like, "Damn, man, Lyoto even got Phil eating slow." And I'm like, "Man, that's all you got from the fighter meeting." But what are some small steps, and maybe a book or something that someone that's high strung, dealing with anxiety, can do to take steps to get there?
Can I jump in real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
Just not even a fight or sporting thing. This is when people have anxiety, right? You ever see on TV, they blow into the bag?
Yeah.
And they're watching their breaths go into the bag, expand, and come out. And what it does is, these are people with generalized anxiety. So they don't even know what's bothering them. But what happens is it allows you to focus and live in that moment while you're breathing. So that is the thing that can, I teach it to my daughter. If she's upset over something, I tell her to breathe and make her and focus on it. I make her count her breaths. I make her count as the breaths are going out. I would say that's the perfect place to start.
You're right. Mm-hmm. That's a good exercise. So you can choose whatever you're doing, and be present. But there is something that you do all the time. What is? Breathe. Yes. Then be present when you're breathing. Be present. There is books. There are books. There are some things that it can help you out. But you know, everything that you're gonna learn just gonna be a signpost. Like you're gonna sign for somewhere. Like if you read the whole Bible, it doesn't mean that you go to heaven.
Exactly.
Right? You have to practice.
Yes.
Same thing. You have to have all the knowledge, which is good, is important, but you have to practice. Like everything you're gonna do, pick something and try in the present moment. Even sometimes be by yourself. Turn off the TV, cell phone, and everything. Get out of this. Breathe. Feel. You don't feel life anymore, man. You don't feel life anymore.
Is that why you every morning you're doing the ice bath?
Yes, one of the reasons. Because
And more so not even before the ice bath?
No, because I use the ice bath to be in the present moment, to concentrate, you know. You have to be in the present, man. Otherwise, no.
So you do it more for that than the ice itself and the cold?
Yeah, of course. I do more for that. Like, be there, breathe, enjoy.
You enjoy it?
Hey, one day, I enjoyed that. Hey, one day, I was eating with all my family. And I was doing the same thing that I slowed down all the eating process. You know what happened? The inner peace started to come. Like, and I feel so happy for nothing.
Yeah.
You gotta be happy for nothing. Just because you're alive. Feel happy for that.
I'm gonna try this all fight week.
No fight week.
I'm gonna try it fight week. I'm gonna try it before. But fight week, I'm really gonna try to enjoy every moment of it. Every single moment.
You know who learned so well this? Glover. For a moment, he said that to me because we always talking about that. Glover Teixeira. And he said, Lyoto, when I became champion, I was in the locker room and I could see I was so calm. My father was against Blakovic. He said to me, I was so calm. I could see everything. People was warming up over there with the focus meat. I was watching, I was breathing, I was calm. I was happy for being there.
And this is something that you talked to him with and you were working with him?
Of course. We talk to Glover all the time. Back then in 2009, we met for the first time. Then I started talking to him. And at the beginning, he said, it's hard, man. It sucks. It's hard to concentrate, to meditate. And now, if you talk to Glover, he said, Lyoto, that's amazing, man. That's the best thing.
So you jumpstart that in him. And here's what's crazy. I met Glover in 17. What he's saying now, now Glover is an extension of Lyoto. Every time I said my Julian, I said, yo, what the hell is that guy's crazy? Like this. Hey man, good to see you. Never turn away one person. I first met him in Winnipeg when Mike Perry was fighting Santiago Ponzinibbio. Glover fought that night. Misha Serkinov beat the shit out of him. At the whole week, me and Glover got cool because I'm still not in the UFC yet. I was on a little win streak, but all these guys, I see them, I'm like, never turn one person away. Thursday night, this is the hardest night. Yeah. This is the weight cut. In the lobby, good to see you taking pictures still. Never, I see this guy, I'm like, yo, what the hell is wrong? But he's been practicing this since 2009, and every single time I see him, the same way. Now I see him more because he comes to the gym because of you. But the same way he's saying, man, like it's eerie how present, how happy he is in every single moment. But now he's a black belt in this.
Yes, because you know, you gotta understand that there is a natural state that the whole human being have. Joy, like inner peace. It's another. If you see your baby, they are in their bed, happy, like joy, everything. Why? Because a natural state is a part of us, man. But why you lose that? Why? Because we always want something. You never satisfy. Satisfied doesn't mean like passivity, resignation, nothing to do with that. Satisfied is your joy, but because you happy, because you have the joy, you can run after something. You know, there is something that happened in my career that people, they don't understand. In the first moment before I get my belt in UFC, I really wanted to have that belt. I was there because I wanted. Then when I lost my belt, I had 2 or 3 more chances to fight for the belt. I think 2 more chances to fight for the against John Jones, against Chris White. And I never could have that belt back again. Do you know why?
Why?
Today, nowadays, I can figure out because in the first moment, I wanted that belt. In the second moment, I need that belt. It's different. No. When you need, you focus on, you miss something. I need that. You miss something. You in scarcity. You're not in abundance. The first moment, I really want that belt. I was like happy. In the second moment, I was, no, I need that belt. I need belt. I was unsatisfied. And I was running after the belt. And I couldn't get that belt again.
That's powerful.
So it's different. When you have that in your mind, everything changes. You don't need anything. You think that you need. You don't need.
I agree. I was born and raised Muslim, so we just got out the month of Ramadan. And the main lesson that I try to tell everybody, because everybody's like, man, you go all day without eating. And I was like, yeah, we go all day, no food, no sex, no water, from sun up to sundown. But I always say the main thing that you get out of it is the lesson of the things you thought you needed. You realize aren't really, it's not really like that.
Because you're still alive. You're still living. You're still alive.
You're okay. Like the hunger you feel goes away. The thirst you feel goes away. And I know people, I have friends that like, they're late to work, late to family events because they got to get in line and get a coffee. Oh, I need a coffee every morning. And I'd be like, why don't you just take a week and don't do it and see what happens?
Yes.
And you show yourself that you don't, that crutch you thought you needed.
And Ramadan is the same time every year? Only once a year?
It's based on the moon. It's once a year. It's for a month. It's based on the moon, so it comes different times of the year. But, yeah.
And
phase of the moon has a different...
No, so it's based. The calendar is based on the moon, and like our calendar is based on the sun. So it's a little more. The calculations are a little more consistent. But because it's based on the moon, comes different times every year.
like it could be February one year and then December another year.
Usually not that big, but usually like it could be March or it could be like June. You know what I mean?
And it's that whatever month it falls in, it's that entire month.
Yeah, it's for 30 days. So it's no particular. We have those months. They don't have those months in Muslim calendar. But so it could be. It's going to be for 30 days unless they spot the moon, and it could be for 29 days.
I was always like intrigued by Ramadan, right? And I'm not Muslim, but I'm like, man, I want to partake in it.
Well, it's prescribed in
Okay.
the Bible. It's also prescribed. It's prescribed for Jews, Hindus.
Like I fast. I grew up 7-day Adventist, right?
There
and
you
like,
go.
My family, they would fast Friday night sunset to Sabbath. That they would, and that's every Saturday, right? But like, I think fasting and refraining from anything is just good in general, right? I think a fast in any capacity, but I think next year, not saying I'm gonna become a devout Muslim. I just want to try Ramadan. I know I could go through it for just simply I don't ever eat breakfast anyway, and naturally I intermittent fast. I didn't realize I do. I've done that for the past 8 years. I don't eat breakfast. I get nauseous if I eat breakfast. I train without eating. I
Every
eat
day, right?
Every day. I've been like this. All my trainers and my coaches try to get me to eat breakfast, but I just like, I just don't. I eat when I'm hungry. I go to sleep when I'm tired. Most people don't. Most people eat like they're on a routine. So I think I'm gonna try next year just for the
That's
mental
beautiful.
of it and the zen. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
I think as I saw him eating while Lyoto was talking, I had a name for him. It was a nigga. You know what I'm saying? I think
But look,
that's what we call him.
I moved the microphone away so I wasn't.
Yeah, the plate clicking and shit. Try to sneak and get it.
And look, I know Paul is gonna edit the hell out of this, so it don't matter.
We gonna leave that in. We gonna make that his own clip. But no, I think that's beautiful, and that's exactly what he's saying, man. It's like learning to go without or showing yourself that you could do without is.
And like me, man, I hope, and I'm gonna shamelessly plug myself. I hope at some point in my career, I always extend my corner to you, right? Because it's a cheat code. You know, I remember, like I said, there's fighters that carry an aura to them. You have that. Jacare Souza has that. Like when Jacare walks in a room, he commands that room. Like I don't care who's around. Motherfuckers are like, yo, that's Jacare. You know, I'm saying with you when you walk in the room, like, yo, it's Lyoto. Motherfuckers just like look at him and they do what he does. You know, yeah. I remember like Jacare being in my corner before the UFC. Right, I'd be nervous, and then I look over at my opponents, and like their coach would either be nervous or they would be like, yo, it's Jacare. I'm like, man, I'm about to beat their ass, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And there's something about it, you know, like, and there's something to the way you carry yourself, right? Yeah. And I try to best of my ability. I'm a goofy guy, of course, but I don't disrespect anyone, right? I don't disrespect anyone, and I carry myself such to where, like, if my mother was around, she'd be proud of me, right? But there's a aura you guys have that I aspire to have, right? Like I said, I've had numerous fights that I've had Jacare in my corner, and then I'm like, just him being there made me feel a certain type of way. And I go out there, he goes, man, Phil, go put your game on, man. Go kill this guy, man. And then bam, 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 bam. You know, and I remember my debut. Jacare, mind you, Jacare would pay for all my stuff, my flights. When we go, he called me coach. He'd take me everywhere with him. When we get there, he gives me $1,000. We get to Brazil, I'm cornering Jacare. He's fighting, I forget who he's fighting. He give me $1,000. Me. We get to North Carolina, he's fighting Derek Brunson. He give me $1,000. I fly with him however he fly. We fly first, I'm right there with him. That's my coach, man. I remember I think it was Jose or some big name Brazilian guys. I don't want to say, but they were like, man, who this guy with you, man? He said, this is my brother, man. This guy is good, man. This guy helped me, man. He will be here, man. You'll see. And I'm like, the way he, you know what I'm saying? So I remember my debut, my tickets were all allotted for. I'm making $10,000 and $10,000. And Jacare was doing something, seminar. He was somewhere. And I was like, yo, can you corner? He's like, yeah, man. He goes, you have to buy my flight, man. He has the money, clearly. I have no money. He goes, and this is a week before because he wasn't around, and now he can be there. He goes, man, you buy my flight, man. You want me to go? You buy my flight. And I don't know if he was testing me. I'm like, damn, man. I'm like, Jacare, man, it's expensive now. The UFC's, yeah, man, if you want me to come, man, I come my corner, you buy my flight, man. I call my manager. I'm like, yo, Malk, man, like, Jacare wants me to buy the flight, man.
Buy the motherfucking flight, man.
But look, I'm so broke back there. I'm sleeping on Julian's couch.
Couch.
I'm not in this house. I'm not in this house yet. I'm sleeping on Julian's couch. And my manager said this to me. He says, Phil, I'm gonna tell you one thing. This is John Jones' manager, all these guys, manager for years. Derek, big Illy Tempori's man. He goes, Phil, I'm gonna tell you one thing. If it makes a difference, win, lose, or draw, if it makes a difference for you, if this is who you used to having, and if you're gonna be that much more confident, if you're gonna be that, he goes, don't put a dollar amount on it. You fly him out, and that's exactly what I did. You know, $800. I didn't care. I flew Jacare out. He's there. Money. Didn't matter. You know, now I look at it. What's that? What was that $800? You know, yeah. And I think more so it was him testing me too. You know, but I paid for that flight, and I had him there with me. So now I look at these fights, man, and I try to carry myself in a certain way, man. But like I said, in my career, at some point, man, I'd love for you to be in my corner. I know you're a super busy man, but maybe one day we could correlate and make that happen, man. That'd be dope.
I got one question that I didn't get to ask. It seems like we're getting close to the time, right? How much longer we got?
Man, we
Okay.
yeah, we close up soon.
Okay. So your father seems like very much like a man of respect, and the way you were talking about him reminded me of my father, because he steered us away. He was a karate guy and all that kind of stuff. He kind of steered us away from fighting, because he didn't see it the same way. This is what we use this for honor kind of thing, not for, to bring attention to yourself.
Your father did karate as well, and he boxed, obviously.
No, my father never boxed.
Oh.
He just did karate.
But he was a promoter for boxing.
He ended up becoming a promoter, but he was the security for Muhammad Ali.
Copy.
So he was in the Nation of Islam, and he was the security.
Copy.
So that's how he ended up traveling the world, and then he fell in love with the sport of boxing.
But he practiced karate. He practiced
Understood. Karate. And so like he saw boxers as like, they're great fighters, they're great entertainers, but he considered what he did to be real fighting. You know what I'm saying? So he said, I never wanted that life for y'all. I never wanted y'all to bruise your hands and all that kind of stuff. But so I was wondering, you and your karate career, you and your brother were both like competing in the same sport. Have you guys ever had to fight each other in a karate competition?
So many times.
So how did
Chenzo
that
kick
go?
your ass, man?
Yeah, he kicked my ass so many times. Yes. Because he's one year, we are 1 year apart. He's 1 year older than me.
Oh, he's the older brother.
He's the older brother.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and when you are older brother, you can dominate your young brother. Then in karate, he was like more devoted to karate. He trained more than me in karate. But every time when we compete, when we fight each other, he won. He won. By the moment, it was like 4-0. 4 Shinzo, 0 me. Then one day, I have a good story.
What age? What age?
Since 7 years old until 19, 20 years old.
20? Chenzo fighting then. Damn.
Then I was 19 years old, and one day I talked to my father. Hey, Daddy, you said that what I have to do to beat my brother Shinzo? He said, Lyoto, you have to train more. Who trains more wins, makes more success. Who trains more gonna win for sure. Then I've been training harder than Shinzo. Shinzo training 2 hours a day. I train like 4 hours a day because we live it together. I knew everything, and I was watching Shinzo. We are brothers, but at the same time we are opponents. We kind of help each other, but at the same time I try to not help too much, because I want to beat him. For him it was normal because he always beat me.
Yeah.
And one day, the bracket, the championship bracket.
Yep.
That you're gonna win one side. Then final.
Mm-hmm.
We met each other there.
So y'all was in opposite brackets.
Opposite brackets.
Okay.
Then it was in São Paulo, Brazil, the final. Then Shinzo, he beat me up fast, like 2 minutes finish. So many points. And I was so sad. And I went to my father right away. As soon as I went to my father, Daddy, let me tell one thing. You said who trains more wins. Why didn't I win this fight? He said, because you are dumb. When I say training more, doesn't mean just practice. It means like you have to study. You have to see some tapes, some videos, some different things. Think, be creative, do something different. Otherwise, you're not going to beat Shinzo. That was a big lesson in my life. Then I started think to myself, come home again, training in a secret, doing some different stuff, start to study more about fighting.
Yeah.
Study. The next championship, I beat Shinzo for the first time.
And you were what age then?
19.
Damn, okay. So you hadn't beat him at all until you were 19.
Yeah. Then, after that, I used to say I like to say that Shinzo become my customer. No?
Nice.
Serving him.
We like to say in our culture he got sunned.
Oh,
He got sunned.
We say the same in Brazil, yeah.
Yeah, you was serving him. Is that why you call him customer?
Yeah, in Brazil,
I like
sometimes
that.
he become my customer.
I like that.
all the time.
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna steal that.
That's what happened with me and my brothers too. You know what I'm saying? I was always the youngest, and I'm the youngest. I'm the shortest, and whatever. They used to beat me up all over the place. They can't beat me up now, man.
It sucks for me because that was my sister beating my ass.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. I have a brother, but she wouldn't try. And I remember the turning point. I was like 15. It was Halloween, and my mother wasn't home, and she had friends over, and she's playing like this ignorant music. And my dad is so low key, like, you know what I'm saying, like he won't say anything like my mother would. Turn that off. Are you playing that cursing in my house? And she's playing music that I know my mother wouldn't want her to play. And all her friends are there, and I tell her turn it down. And then like in front of her friends, she like punched me. She would never do that. I don't know. She was just like charged up because they were watching like, like picked her up, choke slammed her over the couch. That's the only time I've ever hit a female in my life. But it's my sister. And she was 19. I was like 15. I picked her up by her neck and I slammed her over the couch.
You know, there was 7 of us, right?
Damn, that's crazy.
7, all boys, 1 girl. My sister got all the mouth in the world because if we touched her, my father said, "I'll take a brick, hit you on the back of the head with a brick. Don't you ever touch your sister."
Damn.
So, to this day, she got all the mouth in the world because we never was able to touch her.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, my sister beat me up like until I was like 15.
Damn.
And she's very aggressive. But
And that's why you're so good at defense now.
Facts.
Running away from the punches.
Very aggressive. But I like Shinzo, man. Like, and Shinzo, I reached out to him a long time ago, years ago, and he immediately responded to me. I was watching one of his fights, and he did something, and I asked him. I'll see it in my DMs, and he responded to me right away. And he's seen my progression like way before. I mean, I was like 3-2 as a pro, and I saw him do something, and I said, man, he's just like you, noble guy. Like, he didn't have to respond to me, but he responded to me and said thank you and answered my question. And I thought it was cool because I wasn't connected like I am now in the fight game. So that was cool. I always support him. I always tap in with him. And I see him now teaching at the academy.
Yeah.
So a lot of times in MMA, well, this happened more in earlier MMA. I guess it happened with, what's my man's, Marab.
Yeah.
And Aljo, they won't fight each other and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And earlier MMA, it seemed like a bigger story where people at gyms wouldn't fight each other and all that kind of stuff. Is that still happening? Is that still going on?
Yeah, that does. Like me, and here's my take on it. I've never had, you know what I'm saying? I know personally I would never fight Bubba. Like, I don't know if so Bubba, I recruited Bubba. I was in West Virginia for 3 years. And when I was there, I was 0-2 as a pro. And I was just trying to train and trying to figure stuff out. And I walked into the wrestling pavilion, and Greg Jones was one of the coaches there. And I said, hey, man, I'm a professional fighter. I need some work here. If I could just be a part of this room, that'd be great. And I'm lying. Rewind. I'm at this local bar watching some fights. I get into it with a wrestler. His name is Ross Renzi. So I'm arguing with some wrestlers, man. I'm a fighter, and I've never been a bitch. So I'm arguing with this guy, and I was like, bro, I'll beat your ass, man. And he was like, do you know who I am? I'm blah blah blah. All this. So he said, meet him at his wrestling pavilion. So I pulled my bag. The next day, I go to the WVU, Division I Wrestling Pavilion. I'm waiting. Bubba walks in first. So Bubba walks in. He's like, can I help you? I said, no, I'm just here to meet somebody. I can't tell him I'm here to fight. I'm just like, I'm here to meet somebody. And Bubba's like, he's like, Ross. He's like, I'm sorry, man. He's like, that guy's crazy, man. He was like, was he trying to fight you or something? I was like, nah. So then this was summer, and most of the wrestlers weren't in the room, but Bubba's there every day, working out, discipline, stretching. So I gravitated to him. So me and Bubba are doing workouts outside of the wrestling pavilion. We're running and doing all kind of stuff. So he says, man, you could talk to my coach and maybe they'll let you come in and work out with us. And that's when I talked to Greg Jones, and he said, and then the other gentleman, they said, you can come in and practices. And so at that point, me and Bubba became friends. And Bubba said, look, man, when I finish wrestling, I want to fight. And I didn't believe him because there were so many other guys on the team that I was cool with that said they were going to fight, and I would hold pads for them. Fast forward, I'm there for 3 years. I watched Bubba wrestle, and I go back to Florida when my wife finished dental school. Bubba is training with Jim Miller and Dan Miller in New Jersey with my friend Mike Amata. So Bubba had left, and he was in Jersey. So Bubba promised me that he would come train with me. And at this point, I'm 1-2 as a pro. But I had trained with Bubba for 3 years now. So I'm in Florida, and Bubba's in Jersey, and him and my friend Mike come down to Orlando. So I'm trying to sell Fusion to Bubba. Look, man, yo, this gym is great, man. You should train here. And we go to America Top Team. And Julian's there, and I tell Julian about remember that kid I told you about, the wrestler? This is him, man. So Bubba's training with Julian. He's taking Julian down a bunch. And Julian, you know how Julian's nice. So I pulled Julian aside. I said, look, man, this kid, if you don't beat this kid's ass, he's not going to want to train here. He's not going to respect you. I said, you got to beat this kid's ass, man. I told him, you're good, man. Please. And Julian, you know Julian. Julian does not do this. He does it to my friends and people that he knows, right? So he beat up Ak. But if he knows you and he's comfortable with you, he'll do it. But he's not going to do it to somebody he doesn't know at all that may train at his gym. He's not like that. He talks a tough game, but he's not. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he is.
I had to pull. I said, Julian, I'm begging you, please. This is my friend. I trained with him for 4 years. I want him to be here, but you got to fuck him up, bro. I'm telling you. You have to. I pulled him aside. Next round. Julian, mounted crucifix. He's beating Bubba up. Bubba can't move. Think about this. You're talking a guy that never got pinned in college. Now he's on the mat stuck by some jiu-jitsu guy, fighter. So Bubba was mad. You know, he was mad after that. And then he told me after, a week later, he said, Phil, I was not going to come train. He goes, as soon as you told me your coach didn't wrestle, I knew I wasn't going to come train. But I told you as a man I would come visit. So even though I came, I was not going to come train. But he says, man, I got to learn this shit. Whatever this guy is, I'm going to learn this shit, and I'm going to beat that guy. And he's been with us ever since.
Oh, really?
He wouldn't have stayed at our gym.
So he moved from Jersey to here.
And then he's been with us. But Julian, I tell him all the time, he doesn't normally do this. If he didn't do it that day, Bubba would be gone.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
You have to show respect sometimes.
Yes, but I'm happy that he did because now Bubba's here, 8-0, will be in the UFC soon. You know,
for sure.
What's his whole name?
Jacob Scheffel.
Jacob.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jacob Bubba Scheffel.
Okay.
So what's funny is in college, Bubba was the man, right? Like I go to these events and they would have these signs up, and he had this move called the Bubba ride, right? That's Bubba would he's good on top, pause. And they called it the Bubba ride. He'd hold guys down, but he was the man, bro. Like in college, he was the man. I go to these events, and him and his brother were
He's good, man. But he's good.
And he's a good person too. He's a great guy, man. He's a great guy.
Shout out to Bubba.
Shout out to Jacob Scheffel, man. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna hold you too long, man. But I gotta pick your brain on two things, man. How was it, man? How was it sharing the octagon with a Rashad Evans, with a John Jones, man? These are legends, you know. Side note: Rashad Evans was Julian's roommate for 4 years. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. He's coming on here too as well. He's gonna come on and chop it up. We're gonna make fun of him a little bit, but but how was it being in there with those guys?
So I pretty much trained my whole life to beat Rashad Evans because when I was 15, I put that in my dream. I put that in my mind that I would like to be a champion in this sport, and Rashad was the guy in front of me. So in that moment was for me to accomplish my mission. And doesn't matter who put in front of me, could be anybody, but I really knew I want to be a champion, and I will be a champion today. I really knew. It was very interesting because it was the MGM arena, and when I actually, I was in Berlin, and Rampage was supposed to fight Rashad. But Rampage Jackson, he said he had an overtraining, and he could face Rashad.
Oh, he's a punk. He didn't take the fight?
He didn't take the fight. He said, no, I'm so tired because he just fought. No, he just fought against somebody. He said, no, I don't want to take another fight in 2 months. Then I was at home at night about 11 p.m. and the phone rang, and I answered. Was my manager said, Lyoto, it's your turn. You're going to fight for the belt. I said, let's do, man. Then in that moment, but I never pushed for that. No, everybody in Brazil used to say, Lyoto, you have to fight for the belt. I was so calm. I said, no, the time will come. I have to be patient because every fight is important for me. Doesn't matter. It's going to take year to year to years. Doesn't matter. I'm going to wait. I will be very committed for every single fight. Then I had a great camp, and I knew in my mind that I would become a champion. The day of the fight, I was in MGM Arena. I was in the big suite, like 2 rooms in the same suite. Then my brother was with me, and I was like, it was 4 p.m. Before leaving to the arena, before going to the arena. Then I was sweating a lot. And I was...
Fight day?
The day of the fight.
Okay.
And then I started to take a shower. I was like, imagine everything, Then I was crying in the middle of the shower, imagining that, today is my day. Doesn't matter. I knew that. And my brother, who really knew me, he said, Lyoto, come over here. Let's meditate. So we meditate a lot, man. We use the visualization of the fight.
So, did he ask you to meditate because he saw you weren't yourself?
No, because we do that every day.
Okay.
Every day.
Okay.
Every day we used to do that during the training camp. But that day he saw me like very excited. He said, Lyoto, come over here. Let's breathe. Let's breathe. You ready, man? Let's breathe. Then I breathe, and I feel all the energy. I said, today's the day. I knew that.
That's crazy.
I knew that. Then, when I walked down, I going to the arena in MGM. So we cut the way, went from the kitchen, inside the kitchen because a lot of fans was coming up to me. Then when I got in the locker room, I put two straps here in my big toe.
You stretching?
No, because sometimes I use that for kick,
to
hold my toe because I like the front kick. Tapes, 2 tapes, and I wrote down faith. The other one is that strength and faith. Believe. All the time I was talking to myself. Believe in yourself. That's your moment. You go there. I was so focused, Then the fight was that everybody saw that fight. Was very, but I knew every single movement. I knew I could see everything, every reaction from Rashad Evans. Then I could win that fight, and for me it was a mission accomplished. I did everything, and finally it was a dream come true. Now I accomplish everything. So that's why I like to teach people that believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Train hard. Believe. But the most important thing, you have to enjoy the process. Because everything gonna pass.
And I tell myself that, and I'll be honest with you. My whole career, most of my career, not my whole career, most of my career, I was conditioned to lose. I thought I was going to lose, right? I want to win. I try hard to win. I train hard. I stay up. I study. I'm always studying. I'm always trying to find the edge. I don't think there's anything as overtraining. I train. Since I started, I never went into the sauna until my second to last amateur fight. I would run. Phil, you can't run like this before the fight. I never went into, I hated the sauna. I'm not doing this. I run. Bags. Run. If I'm lying, I'm dying, right hand of God. I would have sweats on 4 weeks out before a fight. Phil, what do you do? This is just what I did. I don't know any other way. I remember one time I was running, my legs dead. I'm at the light. I couldn't cross the street. I stopped. Moving my legs, I collapsed. I was fine, like I'm talking to you now. I couldn't stand up. I called my mom and said, hey, can you pick me up? I can't move my legs. She's like, are you okay? I said, I'm fine. I just can't stand up. I'm not being funny. My mom pulled up, got me in the car. I drank, went to sleep, woke up, I had my legs back. But when I first started, there wasn't a lot of people around that believed in me, right? And anytime I'd fight a guy, he'd have a banner with all these sponsors on the banner. He had all his coaches and everybody. And he wrestled for his whole life. And I'm like, man, I want to win. I'm probably going to lose. I would think like this. I go, bow, 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 bow. Oh, shit. Or I win. I'm happy. My whole career. And I would go into these fights thinking this, right? Because my whole life they say, be humble, be humble. And I'm thinking this is what humble means. Like, okay. Even when I was a pro, I trained hard. I got to the UFC clearly. But I would always, in my head, maybe I'm probably going to lose. You know, I want to win. It sounds crazy, but I think like this. So if you look at my fights, I will be in a fight, most of my fights, not doing anything boring. Boom, I win. There's always a turn. Look at I had 3 knockouts in a row in the UFC. Watch these fights. I want my opponents to watch these fights. That's not me. I know how good I am. I know what I can do. Watch these fights. I'm not doing anything. In the corner, Julian's like, Phil, please. We got to go now. We're here. This is it. We got to go, please. That's what he tell me. He's never like, hey, watch the overhand right. Dude, Phil, please. We got to go. Please, right now. Then there's a turn. Bah, 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 fight over. Every time. Jason Witt, Orion Kasi, Nico Price. I'm in front of these guys. I'm better than them. I see everything. I'm just on this autopilot mode. This is the first time in my career I said, Phil, there's 2 guys I can win. It sounds crazy. But now I say this to I can win. I'm going to win. I'm better than this guy. I know it. I train more. What else do I need? I train with the best guys in the world. I sparred the best guys in the world. I've done all this stuff. What else do I need? I'm 33. I've been doing this for 13 years. But this is how I started my career, right? I started my career like this. I didn't really have the direction and the information. And I just assumed I would lose. Now, for the first time, win, lose, or draw, I'm congruent with I can win. I know it. I know I'm good. I know what I can do. I'm better than this guy. I'm going to win. I tell myself these things now. Before, I didn't like saying these things. I feel like you being cocky. No.
Yeah, I know.
And now I'm drilling this in my head and pause, and it's a different feeling I have going into the gym every day. It's a different feeling I have. Usually I sign my name on this. As soon as I sign my name, you know the feeling. Hey, Phil, man, we got to. You want to fight, but then as soon as they give you a name, okay, yeah, all right, like this. I'm like this, cool as a cucumber. Granted, I still got to put the work in, but for the first time in my career, I feel this way. I feel I'm right here. I know I belong here. It took me 5 years in the UFC to feel this way.
Was it the signature win that changed?
No, nothing, no win, nothing that I've done. It's just a shift in my life, you know, like, I'm 33, right? I'm not 24 anymore, you know, like, if it's not now, when is it going to be, you know? Phil, you done sparred the best guys in the world, right? The best guys in the world have asked you to come train. You know, you've been everywhere. You've rolled with you've felt like, what else? There's nothing else. Like, I've trained with Gordon Ryan. I've competed against Craig Jones. I've competed against the best guys, you know? Like, I get to train with this guy. I spar him. I see the highest level. What else is there, you know? Most guys don't even get this edge, right? Most guys don't even get these opportunities I have, and they believe in themselves. Phil, you crazy? Like, look at the guys you train with. Look at the guys you've been training with. Jacare been judo throwing me for 7 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I doing? I'm going to kill this guy. You know, no disrespect to him. I know he's a great martial artist, but I know now in my head. So much so, watch all my film, please. Study it. Get all my tendencies. That's not a shade of what I can do, and I know it. My coach knows it. The people around me know it. And if I can still win, I have 100% finish rate, amateur pro. If I win, you get knocked out or submitted. It's a fact, statistically. If I can still win fighting like that, and these guys know what I really can do. I know what I can do. I'm just excited to see it. You know, I'm excited to tap more into this, and I'm gonna, you know. I got 7 weeks, and this is gonna be the turning point for me. I feel it.
For sure.
I feel it. But once again, man, it's an honor, and I mean it, man. No matter what I attain, no matter where I go, I'm always going to give people their flowers. And I think in our culture, in my culture, you know what I mean? In our culture, too much, we wait till people aren't around to tell them, you know what I'm saying, to give them their flowers, to appreciate them, you know? I never take it for granted training with you, man. Invaluable knowledge, man, from your family, your father, your brothers. Being around you is enough for me, right? I appreciate you. You're in my home. You're taking your time to be on my podcast. I appreciate you, man. You're more than welcome anytime. Thank you. And many, many blessings from us to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Good meeting you.
Thank you, Ak.
I
feel
That's something because you was talking about my name. In Japanese, correct me if I'm wrong, Lyoto kind of reads, L's and R's in Japanese are kind of the same. So in there, you're Ryoto or something like that?
Lyoto.
And your father wanted to name you Ryu, right?
Ryu.
Like Ryu?
Yes.
Damn, that'd have been way cooler than
My name
Lyoto.
is
Do you
Ryu.
know the game?
Yeah, Ryu.
Okay, yeah.
Damn.
That would have been crazy. His mother wouldn't allow it, but
Damn, that'd have been
almost
way
named Ryu.
cooler than
Because Ryu, my name was supposed to be Ryuta. If you end the name with ta in Brazil, it means like female name.
Mm-hmm.
That's why my mom said, no, Ryuta, no, Ryuta is for girls here in Brazil.
You know how epic that would have been if that was your name and you attained what you did in the fight game?
You
would be an American legend without even trying. If your name was Ryu.
The crazy part is he already basically is. That's why I was at the beginning. I was like, is this his character or is this really him?
Nah, that's him.
Because in America, the way you happen to be is just like how we envision. Oh, this is. To this day, I'm waiting for like a Japanese fighter to come through and just beat everybody up. You know what I'm saying? Like Bruce Lee did. You know what I'm saying? So you're exactly what we envisioned as a fighter. Who was the best fighters in the world? So if your name was Ryu, that would have been.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't know how to pronounce it anyway. We'd have been all types of Ryus and Ryus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just funny to me.
But it's a pleasure, man.
Pleasure.
It's a pleasure to be here for me. Thank you, Phil, for
Anytime, man. Anytime, man. And like I said, it don't matter, man. It don't matter what I attain, where I go. I'm the same Phil, man. I see guys all the time, and if I appreciate this guy and I'm a fan, I'm gonna say it. You know, I'm not.
Yeah.
Period. That's just how I am, man. But once again, thank you, man. Token. Let's eat some sushi, man.